Thank you for joining us for this special SSP TV presentation of Let the People Know. With 2015 coming to a close, we reminisce about the year that was and look forward to a brand new year. But for many, the new year may pose some concerns, especially with finances. To help us all focus on building a stronger family and a stronger community, I sat down with two people who have dedicated their lives to making our community the best that it can be. As we look to the new year, we're looking to make our communities better places to live for our families throughout the Greater Hazleton area. And two agencies that are members of the Greater Hazleton United Way that do that year-round are represented here today. I'm pleased to be joined by Mary Angie Schell, who is the Executive Director of United Charities, and Neil Oberto, who is the Executive Director of Catholic Social Services in Hazleton. First of all, I would like to say happy holidays and happy new year to both of you. Thank you for joining us here today. We want to focus on what we could do to make 2016 a brighter year for everyone. So I'm going to start with you, Mary Angie. I know that you and Neil both together go out through the community and have a special presentation that kind of focuses on just that. So tell us a little bit about it.
One of the things, and this was our third year that we were doing this joint presentation during the preparations for Christmas, was to do a presentation to individuals who attended the sessions based on not simply looking at budgeting or anything like that, but looking at what we can do as individuals in our families and individuals in our neighborhoods to improve the neighborhood without really having to spend any kind of money. It was kind of a presentation of looking at creating memories, looking at getting to know your neighbors, because our belief is that if we could strengthen families, then we can strengthen neighborhoods, which then eventually will strengthen the community and make this not only a better place to live, but also a safer place, because we'll know each other. We'll know, our children's, teachers, our children's friends, and, make it a safer and more inviting neighborhood.
And Neil, we know, you and I both went to school together. We know what the communities were like when we were growing up. There's a lot of new people moving into the area, and people are just so busy anymore. We're all working. People are working multiple jobs. So it's a different way of life for everyone anymore. So how important was this message to take it out into the community?
As Mary Angie said, important in the sense that we wanted to go right into neighborhoods and get the word out, because in building, strong families, and strong families being the true core and the root, I guess you could say, of society and of the community as a whole, but getting right to the heart of it, because without the family strengthening, without stronger family units, you are going to have problems in the community. So it is, and continues to be very important for us in that message of providing hope, first and foremost. A new year, it's a new day, and it is all about hope, that message of hope. But having families and individuals and families find that sense of value and worth within themselves, first and foremost. And I think we both feel the key, that sense of value, that sense of dignity and worth within families.
Now, the presentation that you give out through the community is roughly like 20 minutes long. I know we don't have that much time today to do it, but if I could ask each of you to maybe consolidate part of your message to our viewers, to give them a little brief seminar here today, what would be some advice that you would have for people as they look to 2016 on how they can do that to strengthen their family and our community?
One of the things that we mention is to present a positive role model for your children, because that sets the value of what your value is as a family, what your value is as an individual, and a healthy value that moves forward that the next generation will learn. So you're teaching children. So if you say, don't do this, don't smoke, for example, and you smoke, well, you're saying it, but children will often pick up what you do, not what you say. So we're talking about being positive role models. If you see dirt on the street, a carton, or paper or whatever, pick it up. Don't throw papers out of your window, to make it a sense of responsibility, and looking at those little things to create responsibility. So in doing that, then we're setting up the next generation, that they will then teach their children the value of the neighborhood, the value of family. So we're talking about creating memories, you know, positive memories, doing things together as a family, whether it's taking a walk, whether it's having dinner together, you know, whether it's doing any of those kinds of things that create an imprint on a child's mind that they remember what you did as a family.
And Neil, I know you told me as well that you're looking for people to help each other, for families to help each other, because maybe times are tough for some people, they can't afford something. So you're telling people to share. Maybe someone in your family is a plumber, can help out. Someone else in their family, you know, knows something about finances, can return the favor. So how do you pass that on?
Absolutely, and it, again, building on strengths more than anything else, and by getting to know one another, that whole sense of helping each other. And you're right when you say, especially when we look at finances, you know, boy, I'm having a hard time, I need help, a mechanic or something like that. Well, maybe somebody has a strength in that area and somebody else could help in that regard. I think the biggest piece, one of the big pieces we're looking at here in this message is a message of gratitude as well. Well, being grateful for what we have, for the gifts, the talents we have, being able to share those talents and gifts with others, and in turn there, again, going back to that message of hope, because that message of hope is so important here, that message of value and worth, and sharing that value and worth, and not becoming so, feeling this sense of entitlement, but in doing, the message we're trying to get out is by finding that value and worth, building up that sense of self-sufficiency, and realizing you have the potential to dream the dreams and work towards goals.
Neil, you had mentioned one factor, financial advice, and I know that's part of your presentation as well. And many people watching today, you know, have just gone through the holidays and maybe they're worrying about their finances for the new year. What advice do you have for them? Where do they turn if they need guidance?
One of the things as a United Way agency, we do provide information on budget counseling and so on. So if someone's having difficulty creating a budget, you know, we will initially look at, you know, their circumstances. But if they're in very, very much difficulty, that it's kind of, you know, real intense, then we will, you know, ask them to contact Consumer Credit Counseling, one of the agencies that specifically specializes in, you know, the budget counseling, and then has connections with the credit companies and so on, so that they can make payment arrangements and things of that nature.
And you're getting people from all walks of life coming for assistance, and you don't turn anyone away.
No, we don't. We have a self-sufficiency program that actually helps families work towards goals, looks at finances, looks at all kind of issues. And I guess if I had to sum the whole thing up, we would be talking about understanding choices, because it's the choices that we make that sometimes get us into the binds we get into. So we want to promote constructive thinking, I guess, and in the constructive thinking, making right choices and right decisions.
Well, thank you both for being part of this program today. Very important advice I think we could all use to do things for each other, and you know, it will be reciprocated. It will make it truly a nicer community, and it will make our families stronger, I'm sure, in the process. If you need any advice or information regarding the programs that are provided through Neil and Mary Angie, please contact them. They will be more than happy to help. Welcome back to Let the People Know. Our next story focuses on a better you. While we all tend to make the popular New Year's resolutions, the big question is, do we know what it takes to keep them? Pleased to be here at Core Fitness in Hazleton with Christy Book, one of the co-owners. It is New Year's resolution time. Christy, I'm sure this is a busy time for Core Fitness. You've heard a lot about this.
It is. We get it every year. New Year's resolutions are huge for everyone, not just women, but here at a women's gym we do see a lot of resolutions. So we've heard all the stories.
And give us a scenario. What are some of the stories that you do hear? And when do people start? Right in the first week in January?
It does happen like that. We do see some previous, but people are usually busy between Christmas and New Year's. So usually getting into January, even sometimes the second week gets very, very busy. And we hear, I don't know what happened to me. It all happened overnight. I gained 15 pounds. I don't know what to do. I need to lose it. So there's 9 million different stories, but we've heard them all. And shout out to University of Scranton. They did a study. Sadly, this is a shocking statistic. Only 8% of people actually achieve their New Year's resolutions, and there's a lot of different reasons for that.
I was very shocked to hear that number. I didn't think it would be very high, but I thought it would be higher than that. So what are some of the reasons why people don't achieve the goals they set?
Well, I think it really boils down to not having set goals. So you have so many things that you want to do. You resolve to fix everything all at once. You don't have any little goals or tangible markers. And then you just kind of throw your hands up in the air and you say, I'm done. I'm not seeing anything. I don't have time. I can't afford it. There's every excuse in the books, but I've heard them all.
So what do we do in order to not be part of that low percentage of people that do succeed?
Well, I think it really has to do with the amount of goals that you set. So don't try to go on a diet, lose 50 pounds, quit smoking and drinking all at once. I mean, those are really the top 4 things that people resolve to do over New Year's. Set little tangible goals and say to yourself, you know what, I'm going to do one thing different a day. I'm going to add fruits to my diet every single day. And then once you do that for a week and you've achieved that, I'm going to add an extra vegetable to my diet. And I really don't like sweet potatoes, but I'm going to try them a couple times. You know, it's like feeding a child. I think they say it takes 11 times to eat something before you actually know whether you like it or hate it. So you have to do those little goals. And as far as weight loss goals, I think they could be, I want to try something different. I want to try something that I like, and try different things to see what it is that you like. You may take a spinning class that you never thought you would take and find that you really like it. The music motivates you, the instructor motivates you, and that's your niche. So now Tuesdays and Thursdays, you know you have to be in that class, and there's no excuses for it. You can't keep coming up with an excuse not to be successful at your resolution. Don't talk yourself out of it. It's all in your own mind.
All righty. Well, I know you have some exercises you're going to show us now to hopefully get us motivated, that we can get on that routine of exercising regularly and hopefully being one of the proud people that accomplishes our New Year's resolution goal.
I do. So you can get these things at the dollar store. One's already in your house. The other's going to cost you $1. You only need a small amount of space, and I want you to leave it up the entire month of January.
All right, girl. Let's see it.
Okay, guys, here it is. This is your home gym. You have no excuses. This is some duct tape that I got at the dollar store. I want you guys to make a box. So you're gonna take 2 steps, and that's how long it's gonna be, and then about as wide as one wide step, wider than your hips. So we're gonna put that on the floor. You're gonna get yourself a Sharpie and a chair, and this is gonna stay up the entire month of January, right? Okay, so I'm gonna show you a couple things. We're gonna start on the chair. Now, obviously, any of this can be modified. If you cannot get up on this chair, you can certainly turn it around, do this same exercise this way, taking the weight off of one leg and just tapping. But for this segment, we're going to turn it this way. We're going to place our hands on the back. Make sure you have a good chair, not a folding chair. Do not use a folding chair, okay? Foot is all the way on. You're going to pull your abdominals in, drop your shoulders down, light fingers on the back, and all we're going to do is we're going to tap up and down. And trust me, this is going to burn so fast. I call this squashing the bug, okay? So I want you to imagine that there's a bug on the floor. You don't want to squish him. He's endangered. So you barely put your foot on him. You bring it back up. You're going to do that as many times as you can. I would shoot for 12 to 15. Trust me, it's going to burn. If you want to do 30 seconds, you can do it that way. And then repeat on the other side. We're going to come to the front of the bench, hands on the back here. Now, the closer your feet in on this, the simpler it is. So we're going to bring it here, down, and up. And this is going to work the bingo arms. My old swim coach used to say that ladies yelled bingo and their arms would still be flapping when they were done. So we don't want those. That's going to work that. Turning around, hands to the side, nice straight spine. And we're going to do some mountain climbers here. Keep your belly button pulled in. Elbows are not locked, okay? We're going to come over to our square. We're going to start at one side, and we're going to step out with your hand and your foot. Bring it back together, and we're going to go the whole length. If you can, do a push-up here. Repeat back. You don't have to do the push-up. That's if you can do it. We're going to start at the end of the square. We're going to hop and land, pop and land 3 times, turn around, go back, okay? There's your whole gym. Let me know how it works out.
All right, you just saw some great exercises on how you could get motivated and started for this new year. If they have any questions or concerns, they can give you a call.
Absolutely, 455-7818. And be creative, girls. If you come up with some new ideas, please post them on our wall. You don't have to do exactly what I just did. Modify for yourself, add things in, and do it for the whole month of January. You will see the results.
All right, and we want to make sure you take it slowly so that you are one of the people who accomplishes your goals this new year. Welcome back to Let the People Know. 2016 will hopefully be a very good year for us all, a year of accomplishments and major milestones. And one organization that is very dear to SSP TV will soon celebrate its sesquicentennial. Here now is a look back and a look at what lies ahead in 2016 for our media partner, the Hazleton Standard Speaker. I'm pleased to welcome Mark Katchur, the managing editor of the Hazleton Standard Speaker, our media partner. 2015, a big year for the media, for the Standard Speaker. 2016, an even bigger one for the Standard Speaker. So I guess let's start with last year. You recently had your top stories in the paper this past Sunday, which is something that the paper has done for many years.
Right. We annually do a year in review, looking back at the last 12 months. And that review looks at the news, local news specifically. And we do our top 10 stories, and this year was no different. We featured our top 10 stories. The staff votes on those stories come December, and we present them to the readership. It's a fun exercise because we get to look and see exactly what we did in 2015. And a lot of times you'll find that there are things that happened during the year that you forget about because maybe they're 8, 10, 12 months ago. But when you really think about it, they were important stories at the time. So it really is a good exercise, like I said, to go back and look through the last 12 months and see what happened in Greater Hazleton and present that to the readers again. And I think the readers enjoy it. I know the staff does. Again, it's good practice. So we did present that on Sunday. And if you missed the paper, you can obviously look online at standardspeaker.com. Our top 10 story package is there. It includes the top 10 stories, a year in photos, actually has a day-by-day, which is really neat for history buffs especially. It's a way to really archive the past. It's a really good way to know what happens not every day, but almost every day, specific events that happen in Hazleton in the news during 2015 or any year. So
I really like that.
It's a good look back.
That is a good look back, and that's a lot of work for you guys to do because being in the media, we know what it takes. So that does take a lot of work for you to do all of that.
It does, and the work is spread out through the year. We know that every year, every December, we're going to do this for our readers. So starting in January in 2016, we'll be keeping track of what's happening so that we can present this year in review package at the end of the year.
Well, they can read all of it online at standardspeaker.com. But a big story being made for 2016 is the fact that the Standard Speaker, in one form or another, has been around for a really long time. 150th anniversary being celebrated this year in 2016. So tell us all about that.
Yeah, we're celebrating our 150th year, as you mentioned. Now, the Standard Speaker name has only been around for about 50 years. 1964 or so was when the Plain Speaker and the Standard Sentinel merged and became one newspaper in Hazleton. But we trace our roots back 150 years to a newspaper that existed in Hazleton at the time. So we'll be celebrating that in 2016. We have lots of events planned, community events that we're looking at offering to the readers and the public in Hazleton. So they'll be hearing more about that in the newspaper, reading more about that. So that's something to look forward to. And the other thing we're looking at doing is putting out a special section in January to coincide with the date of the first publication of a newspaper in Hazleton. And that will happen in mid-January. We're doing a special section which looks at the history of Hazleton, various areas. We have a section that will be dedicated to specifically the newspaper history and how it grew from its early days in the late 1800s to where it went through the 20th century and where we're at now. Another section will include front pages from the past, so people can look through and see how news was presented on various days of big events, the Kennedy assassination, the Challenger explosion, some more local events like the illegal immigration law being debated here in Hazleton. So I think that's something that a lot of readers will enjoy seeing. It will be a 6-section edition.
Wow.
So yeah, it will be 72 pages. So there will be a lot of content, a lot as it relates to the history of Hazleton. And the other thing we're doing is every Sunday in 2016 we'll be looking at a local history piece. So we'll be featuring that as well. Recently we debuted our logo for that, so readers will be seeing in the newspaper in 2016 special logos that indicate this is something that coincides with the 150th year of the Standard Speaker. So it's something we're really excited about, and again, I think readers and the public will enjoy it, and more to come on that in the coming days.
Wow, I remember growing up as a kid, and my grandparents would talk about the paper, and they'd say the Plain Speaker, or they'd make references to that, and I'd be like, "What are you talking about?"
Right.
And it's funny because a lot of people, old habits die hard, would still call it the Plain Speaker, and even to this day, I'm sure there are probably some that do.
We still do get calls from some old timers who refer to it as the Plain Speaker, and that's how they knew it. So.
Yeah.
That's okay with us.
Well, the newspaper, obviously, an integral part of the community for so many years, and the fact that it is reaching that monumentous milestone of 150 years is really something that we should be proud of in the community, to have such a reputable news organization keeping us informed. We're proud to be obviously partnered with you guys as a media partner, but this is really something to celebrate and to have a year to recognize this. So we hope that not only will you look back to 2015 for the year that was, but mark your calendars, because that is January 17th. Is that the date that the insert will be appearing in the Hazleton Standard Speaker? You're going to want to pick it up as you do every day, but maybe get extra copies, because I'm sure relatives out of town and that are going to want that to save it as a piece of history. Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. Yeah, and we will be printing extra copies, so they'll be available not only with subscribers in the regular edition, but they'll be available for sale at our office and other points around town.
All righty, well, very good. Mark, listen, thank you. It's been a pleasure to have you here. It's a pleasure to work with you all throughout the year, and your entire team at the Standard Speaker. We look forward to another successful year of working together, and let me, on behalf of everyone here at SSP TV, say happy anniversary, congratulations on such a major milestone, and we look forward to many more years of great news and weather and sports and everything else coming from the Hazleton Standard Speaker.
Sure, thank you. Well, we appreciate that, and the feeling is mutual about the teamwork. So.
All righty. Mark Katchur, the managing editor of the Hazleton Standard Speaker. I hope that you have enjoyed this special presentation of Let the People Know. From everyone here at SSP TV, we wish you and yours a very healthy, happy, and prosperous new year.